Okay, guys, hello. We're back for The Last of Us. This time, episode 6. Ooh, it's been a while since I've talked about The Last of Us, that's for sure. I love this episode. Just, oh my god, for starters. Jesus Christ. This episode is packed, chock full of emotion and human pathos and just entire wholesomeness. I didn't think I could get wholesomeness from like a weird apocalyptic zombie show, but we got it. It really is just an emotional roller coaster of bullshit. It's great. I loved it. It's God again 6 for 6. The things they do in this episode, they're amazing. The dialogue, the emotion from the actors, the sets, all the places we've been. Jesus Christ, it's oh my, we're getting deep into like the philosophy of the show even too, and with our characters and what they feel. And it's great. We're gonna get into it. There are a few things that they're not really problems. I would say they're nitpicks, and by nitpicks I mean things that annoy me that don't pertain to the plot or have no bearing on the plot. To be more specific, they're just things that are like, I don't really like that, you know. But we'll get into it. So we'll go as deep as we can with this episode. There are a lot of things to talk about, but the pacing is definitely very weird in this episode. At watching it, I've watched it 3 times now. It's very slow, but it's also very fast at the same time. And I believe that's because they're merging two different plots from the game into this one episode. And we're really getting into like the arc of. Okay, so if you don't know about the game, we're getting into the cannibal arc. So, slight spoiler, we're not there yet in this episode, but they're definitely merging those two plot points. And Joel's brother, Tommy, his episode. So we're merging those things, and they're doing a really good. It's really smooth the way they're doing it. It's not bad at all. The way they're like interjecting these characters and these two different plot lines into this point of the show, it's very smooth. It's being done generally well, and I love the emotion coming from like our specifically Joel and our characters in this episode. They're just really just done so well. It's acted beautifully. So I have really no other complaints other than the things I would specifically said, and we're gonna talk about them. They're not important, but I'll talk about them anyway, just very slightly before we get in. So let's do it now. So where we last left off, our tragic story from the last episode in episode 5, where Sam and Henry they both die. We all both know that. Sam turned. Henry, no, I'm sorry. Yes, Henry killed his brother in the defense of Ellie, which is incredible. Obviously, they didn't know each other very well, but Henry still took that decision to do that, and then obviously he unallied himself in Minecraft. Uh, horrible. Just the emotion from that episode, absolutely horrible. Now where do we go from here? Now we get a little time skip, all right? It's been 3 to 4 months since we've last seen, or technically in this episode, since obviously one episode since we've seen that, but 3 or 4 months since Ellie and Joel have been together. They've been still chugging along their goal to go to Wyoming to find Tommy, and this is where they end up. Now, where they end up is not. This is sort of fillerish, but it's a good set. It's a good like send off to like where they need to go to like get to their point, and it's just like a little stop along the way. So where they end up now, they've been on their journey 3 or 4 months in the snows of their. Assumingly, they're in Wyoming right now. But in these 3 or 4 months, it's very cold, snowed a lot. They are sort of compatriots here, our comrades, Joel and Ellie. They are lost, so they happen upon this random settlement. It's not, settlement in quotes. It's really just two people, two old people, and it's explained that they've been out of reach. They're so far away from both civilization and even infected that they have not really even come across. Well, they've probably come across people, but they've like stayed, distanced away from like large sections of people, so you know, they haven't done the whole, super survivalist shit that Joel's been up to, like killing people, scavenging, killing infected, doing all that biz. They're in this like weird isolated section of America where no one can really touch them, and they haven't encountered a lot of people. Joel and Ellie happen upon them. Joel and Ellie basically take hostage of this old man. I know this old man from another TV show or movie. I don't remember who he is. I'm not sure, but I remember his face. So it's quite, it's not good serious. It's just funny. So there's some funny dialogue here where Joel and Ellie, they have his wife under hostage. They're basically, like, they're isolationists, right? They're hermits. So they're like two hermits living together, husband and wife, just doing their own thing, not really bothering anyone, not doing any heinous acts upon anyone, not really encountering any infected, just trying to live their lives. And they've been doing this thing, and it's been said they've been doing this thing for a while, even before the apocalypse. So they're survivalists, really, that have been, again, just doing their own thing, right? And no wonder that they've survived. Though I find it highly suspicious that they haven't in their all the 20 years of the apocalypse, they haven't encountered like really anybody. Like anybody, Joel and Ellie are the only ones that have like come across their cabin in the entire 20 years. It's a bit suspect because the seasons change here. It's not all snow all the time. Now that's okay. So Joel and Ellie are holding them captive. Our man here presides upon them. Joel and Ellie are asking them about Tommy, asking them about where they were, who they were, where they are. Um, the man's like, oh, I've never seen your friend before, but, I can help you, I guess. Now, there's some funny dialogue here where Joel asks him, hey, where are we? Are we right here on the map? The old man's like, turns, and Joel's like, or listen, if you give me a different answer than your wife, I will kill you both. The old man, like, all right. He's like, he asks his wife, did you tell them where they are? She's like, yeah. You don't hear her weird like southern drawl, like, yeah, that's right, I did. He's like, but wait, are you lying to me? He's like, no. So it's like I like that. I like how he has to ask his wife, are you being truthful with me? Which really shows like how society has changed. Like, can I even trust my own wife to like help us get out of this situation of these two people that are clearly stronger than us and they can have guns on us? And I just find that funny. He's like, all right, begrudgingly, he's like, all right, I'll tell you the truth. You're right here. It's like, all right, we're good. Joel and Ellie, if there wasn't a woman there, I expect Joel would be far more hostile with the two of them. And also Ellie. If Ellie also, Joel has changed dramatically throughout this journey. We're going to see the biggest change with him in this episode as well, about how he cares about Ellie and how he thinks of her and how he wants to take her on this journey, and what's been happening up until his life, even before, up until his own child, up until like the apocalypse, right? And just things have to like, everything's gone, everything's crazy. Obviously, everything's just so crazy. We're gonna see this change, this absolute like drastic change with his character. So they tell him what's there. They warn him. They give him some advice. Don't go to this part of the river. There's death there. It's only death. We see bodies come out from there. We don't know who's taking those bodies. Sometimes they're infected. Sometimes they're not. Most of the time, when we see them, they're always dead. So we don't know what's up there heading west. But we're telling you it's bad. So be careful. Joel and I are like, all right, we can't do much of that after that. They're going to steal a rabbit from him and eat it. Joel and Ellie, in these 3 months after departing from Sam and Henry at the motel, they have not eaten well, and they're in a dire straits. It's very cold now. They're really just really very focused on finding Tommy because they need him. They need him. They know where he is. They don't know where he is. But hopefully, he's in a good place, and they can, help each other. Obviously, these are things, circumstances that could be applied to their dynamic that would help them in the future that they're not quite yet aware of. But obviously, it's everything they've been doing so far throughout the entire show has been a huge gamble in and of itself. So finding Tommy obviously won't be bad for them, even if he's dead or if he's alive. They don't know yet, but they're going to come to these crossroads when they get there. So they do that. They steal a rabbit. They get some help from these old people. They're not particularly important to the plot. That's fine. This is actually important now to Joel's psyche. So what's been happening here, and this is different than the game. Now in the game, I thought at first, when I was watching the episode for the first time, I thought this was a sign of the sick arc of Joel. So in the game, there's an arc where Joel gets sick in the cold and Ellie has to take care of him. Now, this is slightly different. They're changing a few things. So instead of Joel being directly sick from some sort of virus or cold, he is having panic attacks. Now, these panic attacks aren't like incredibly pronounced with the way he's showing it because Joel's very tough. Obviously, he doesn't want to show Ellie that he's sick in any way, shape, or form. So the way these panic attacks are introducing themselves, they're not. It's just him being scared of situations. He's having hard trouble breathing. His heart rate goes up. He feels like he can't do anything. He feels weak. Now, this is the replacement of the panic of the sickness, and there's going to be another replacement to that. And this is also going to be a catalyst for more like character introspection between Joel and Ellie, which is going to be fucking amazing in this episode. Which, again, cannot state enough. It is a emotional roller coaster between these people and everything they're going to go through in this episode. It's fucking nuts, and the bond that they share, and that's going to contribute to the rest of the series, is going to be everlasting in these scenes with Joel. He's like having trouble breathing, and it's being done beautifully. I must, I can't, I don't know how I could extrapolate these points enough, other than I love these scenes, and they're being done beautifully by Pedro and Bella Ramsey, and I can feel the chemistry between our characters connecting even more between every scene. It's amazing. It's beautiful, and I love it. It's very good. It's very good. Very good. Some things that people might be concerned, and we will maybe extrapolate this when the end of the series goes, is how do these scenes compare to the game? And are these scenes being done in the show, are they as good as the game, or are they worse? Or are they better? Now, I'll say for now, I feel, and we'll get more into this at the end of the series, but I'm just saying for right now, I'm going to say that the way they're portraying the emotions in these scenes for our characters and the way the story's progressing, I'm going to say it's up there with the game, but like from some other reviews, there's something missing from keeping it, making it better. And I don't know what that is, unfortunately. But I'll just say that for now, and we'll go with the rest of the plot. I just want to get that out of my chest, right? Because I really like this show. 6 episodes so far. There are 8, I believe, at the beginning of this recording, or maybe 7. I'm going to do another review after this. So far, the show's been brilliant. HBO's done an incredible job with everything about this show. So, but obviously, at the end, we're going to have to compare it to the game. That's just to be fair. We have to. It's only fair to do that because the show is based off the game, so we have to. We have no choice. So, for now, I would say the show's up there with the game, but it's still not better than the game, and I don't know why that's not the case. There have been a few changes in the show, but they've been done like generally well. It all flows correctly, right? It all makes sense, correct? It all makes sense, but there's still something missing, keeping it from like at that tier. All right. Anyway, all right. We'll sorry for that ramble. Just wanted to get that off my chest. We'll go back into the episode. Joel and Ellie, they're moving across the land. They find the lake that the people said not to go to. Oh, I'm sorry. Before they do that, they camp out. They're just having nice talk. Just so we get some more great dialogue between their characters, really thinking about the future. Ellie asks him, like, Joel, what do we want to do after this? It's like into like some deep psychological thought about like our characters, what they're gonna do. They don't even really know if this cure would work or if Marlene could do it. Joe even says that Marlene's not stupid. He has faith that if Marlene says she can make a cure, he believes her that she could. Ellie's like, if I want to do something, I would kind of want to stay with you, Joel. It's very heartwarming, so wholesome, very wholesome. Joel's like, all I really want's a ranch, I guess. Never had the chance to do that. And Joel's lived for a long time now. He's in his 50s. He's been through a lot through the apocalypse, and so has Ellie. And the experiences here are just so heartwarming and heartfelt. You can't. I'm finding it hard to dislike Ellie anymore. At the beginning, I didn't really like Bella Ramsey's character acting with Ellie and her character, but as the show's progressed, I've really come to enjoy their dynamic now. They have a really good dynamic. I love it. It's very good. They have great chemistry. So Joel basically tells her, those are these things I want to do. He's like, here's the things that I like. Here's the things that I would want to do if we could like do these things. They don't explore that, they don't explore the possibility that the cure wouldn't work. They don't explore that in this scene here. Now, I don't want to spoil anything, and I won't. Keep that thought in mind, right? Keep that thought in mind if you haven't played the game. So they're gonna take their night out here at the camp. They're just gonna take a little nap. Joel's like, I'm gonna take first and second watch. Joel's acting very tough, still very protective of Ellie, doing what he can do. Joel falls asleep now. Um, Ellie's been keeping watch for who knows how long, probably a few hours. Joel's very upset. You should have woke me if that ever happens. You didn't have to do that. In these 3 or 4 months, Joel has been teaching her like how to keep track, like literally like tracks, and also not how to hunt or how to shoot in particular, but like how to assess a situation or a bad situation, how to deal with it. Obviously, she would wake Joel up if something happened, but she at least trying to hold her own with Joel because she wants to, prove herself for him and be able to, not be a nuisance. She doesn't want to be a nuisance to Joel. She wants to, stay with Joel. We're gonna get more into this later in the episode. So it's another nice scene getting their dynamic where Joel's obviously still scowling, grumbly all the time. That will never change. But really like he's in protective dad mode. It's not. It's very subtle right now. It's going to be more pronounced later. So we get through that. They're going to They're going to head towards the river where they are now. So this is the river. They think that where all the bad stuff happened out west. Now it turns out this is not this whole scenery here on the bridge. This is not the river they think it is. They're yet again lost. Now it's easy for them to get lost because there's just been like storming constantly for who knows how long. But then the road signs aren't clear. So they're not good. I guess Joel's having trouble reading the map or something. Anyway, they think this is the river that is the place where all the death is coming from. They don't see anything. They shoot some pot shots off into the air to see if anyone will come up. Any infected, any raiders, humans. Nothing happens. So they're like, okay, I guess we're all right. Let's just go through. Let's hurry along. They're going to go through. They have nice talks throughout the land. Oh, now this dam is actually important. So this is pertaining to the game, and some things are changing and why they're converging like 2 different plot lines. We'll talk about that dam. Actually, we'll talk about it later. So they go through. Ellie makes a comment like, Joel, wait a minute. Maybe this is actually the river that we should have been watching at. They've been walking for who knows how long. Joel's like, oh shit, you're maybe right, Ellie. This could be the river. He looks at his map. He's like, oh fuck, this is the river. Bam! All these guys come out. They are holding guns on them. This is an oh shit situation. Joel's like, listen, we're just passing through. Please don't hurt us. Now, if it was just Joel here, I would say that these people would probably kill him because he doesn't give his name right away. And this is important too. And it's like this is Joel's also having like I wouldn't say he's having one of his panic attacks here in this situation because he is completely off guard. He can't do anything. He's outnumbered. Ellie's right next to him. All guns are pointed on Ellie. Joel's in a position where he cannot do anything. And this is a feeling Joel's been having for a little while. We've been seeing it all throughout the whole series. He's hard of hearing. He's old. He's slow. He's weaker than he used to be. These are all things that are going to come back and cycle through. It's amazing the dialogue we get when we see him. So after this, all these people here like, just shut up. We're going to get our dog here to sniff you. And if he smells, apparently dogs can like sniff the infected. They can like sniff the fungi in the series. I don't remember if that's true in the game. But I would say I have no problem with it if this is like a new material because even just think of it logically, dogs have different, and we saw it from the first episode. Actually, yes, that the dog noticed that the grandma from the first episode, something was up with her. So they did introduce that back in the first episode. I have no problem with this, even if it's not in the game, because they already established it before. Yes, so that's good. That's consistent. So the dog's gonna sniff them. Joel's extremely worried about Ellie because technically Ellie is infected, but also technically she's not, as we know. So fortunately for her, the dog, I would guess that the infection is just inactive inside Ellie, which is why the dog can't like sniff it out. And if the infection was in her and active, I would assume that that the dog could be like, oh, something's wrong with you, and it would bark and rip her apart, like they said. It would rip her apart. But nothing happens, so very fortunately. So Joel, after the dog does his business, is like, oh, I'm not doing anything. Ellie has fun with the dog. Joel's like, all right. They're all like, tell us your names. My name's Joel. The black lady here was like, oh, stares at him. Why are we staring at him? What could it possibly be, guys? Obviously, they take them with them. They're gonna take them to their giant settlement here. This is far beyond what's happening in the first game now, all right, adaptation wise. So this does not happen in the game. This happens a little bit differently in the game. I mentioned the dam before. I'll just say it right now. So in the settlement, obviously we're gonna find Tommy. Now we don't actually get to see the settlement in the game. Only in the second game, The Last of Us Part 2, we get to finally see the settlement. What they do in the game, they find Tommy. They find Tommy, and they go to the dam because they're having problems with the dam. Now the settlement uses the dam for power. In the game, it's either infected, it's either overrun with some infected, or raiders are attacking them. I believe it's actually raiders. And Tommy's like, Joel, I need your help. It's great that you're here. Let's work together. We're gonna take back the dam so we can get power to our settlement. And that's where they basically leave off. Joel and like Tommy go their separate ways because Tommy has prior, responsibilities in the settlement. But they get supplies from Tommy, so Joel and Ellie go on their way. Now they don't get to see the place, but now we're here now. We're here now at the place of the settlement, and we get this heartfelt, super emotional scene where Joel sees Tommy. Tommy sees Joel. Oh my God, it's beautiful. It's like, oh, two people that haven't seen each other in years, brothers, finally coming together. It's a super heartfelt scene. We're like, what the fuck are you doing? Joel's like, I'm here to save you, and Tommy laughs. It's super heartfelt, and Joel obviously doesn't know this place exists. We're gonna find out why. So they have some like minor chit chat after talking, after eating. So the people here, they have a huge setup. Massive setup. It's around 300 people with children, and they have food, water, electricity, supplies. They have everything. They've been stopping people. They've been stopping raiders. These are the people that have been like part of the West that the old couple talked about. They're the ones that like are bringing death. They've been killing raiders and people and infected that have been coming across their territory, causing problems. Now, whether we want to say those people were all bad, take that. Let's like gauge the morality scale of the world, right? They can't take chances on their community, and they're very careful about who they let in. Obviously, they're going to let Joel in, of course, and Ellie, because, they know them. Tommy knows them, so hospitality demands that they be brought in for a bit. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to stay. That's just, it's just a thing to, think about. The world has changed drastically, and they have to protect what they have here. And they have to be as cautious as possible. They have to be as cautious as possible to do the things they need to do to survive, right? So we get some nice dialogue here, going back and forth, chit-chatting with each other. We have food here, stuff here. Tommy explains. Joel wants Tommy to go with him. Tommy's like, I really can't. I have responsibilities here. He is married to Michelle here, I believe is her name. Is it Michelle? I'm going to say her name's Michelle, even if it might not be. She is pregnant. Now, her being pregnant is a little sketchy to me because later we find out that, before the apocalypse, she was a lawyer. And we know the apocalypse, it's been 20 years plus some other months. So, it's just, she's old. And she's pregnant with Tommy's child. And it's like a super nice thing that Tommy is like, he's starting a family here, finally. Now, it just doesn't compute, right? Because she said she was a lawyer 20 years ago, right? She's at least 38. She has to be. But she couldn't be, right? Because I don't think, do the writers understand that how difficult it is for people to have children. It is extremely difficult sometimes, especially when you're over 30. And people have difficulty having children when they're in their 20s. It can be they have like special conditions or diseases. It's just a really hard sell, to believe, That's okay. So we go from there. There's a snide comment after they take a tour through the town of their settlement. Where it's explained that they have power, they have food, they have everything they need here. They can do whatever they want. It's explained that there's a council of people. Michelle's on the council now. Michelle is it's democratically elected on the council. There's a snide comment about communism. I'm not gonna touch it. I won't. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I I don't care. That's okay. We go through our mission here. We're gonna stay in town for like a day or two until Joel can get settled and do what he needs, and for Ellie to like have a shower, and Joel's gonna have a shower. They're just gonna prepare for their journey basically. Joel and Tommy, they have a talk. Tommy was talking like some sort of bullshit later, how he could like shoot clickers from half a mile away. Joel's like, that's bullshit. I know you can't do that. We've been together. Joel's like, listen, Tommy, I want you to take Ellie. He doesn't tell him about Tess yet. Tommy knows Tess, so they're all friends basically. And this is like a super hard subject for Joel to talk about, and it's like. Before that, we can just like skip into that too, because we're just having like bullshit conversations until we get to like those really emotional parts of the episode where Joel like really opens up finally to Tommy about like what happens. Before that, we get some other nice dialogue between them, what they want to do right now. Joel's upset that Tommy doesn't want to come with them. But obviously Tommy has to stay there, so he can't do anything. Joel has more panic attacks. He can't stop it. This is culminating in this other dialogue scene that's gonna really proliferate with our characters, and really it's gonna be super sad and super emotional. It's all great. So we also saw a side character from The Last of Us 2 actually that might be important later. It was right around here. This girl that was spying on them. Now, I forget her name from The Last of Us 2. I can't get her specific image. That's fine. She doesn't matter. In the next part, she might. Anyway, Michelle tells Ellie to come over. She's gonna cut her hair. They have a little chat. This is where she told Ellie that I was a lawyer before the world fell. Now again, even if she was 18 at a lawyer, she would have to be a fucking prodigy, right? Because like you have to go through law school. Law school can take tons of time. If she's in her 40s and she's pregnant, it's just not believable to me, realistically, how she's able to do that without like I don't know having a miscarriage or having super, any amount of problems you can think of about, with childbirth. And there are numerous. There are just numerous problems all around that. Anyway, they have a conversation about Joel. Ellie finds out that Joel had a daughter. She did not know this at this point, which is it was super surprising for her. But she's also like, that explains why he is the way he is. Extremely funny. Now they have their conversation, and that's fine. Ellie backs Joel up here, like defending him, because Michelle's worried about Joel. Like he's clearly not. She thinks he's not a good dude because she knows that he's killed innocent people along with Tommy, and their relationships are really strained. Anyway, they're gonna be screening a movie here. Joel off on his own trying to repair his shoe, and this is the place. Joel completely opens up to Tommy here. He just lets it all out. This is the first time he's let any emotion really out at all. Other than with like Tess. He didn't even really do it with Tess. He didn't have a opportunity to do this with anyone. No one knew about really Tess. He's had been protecting Ellie this entire time. He's just had no outlet to receive all this like anger he's been doing out in the world. So he lets it all out. It's like Tess is dead. He even tells Tommy that Ellie is infected, but she's immune, and she's bringing her to Marlene. This is where we are finding out. Like Tommy's like, tell me everything. Joel breaks down. And it's like, Tommy, please take her. Joel is sad, and Ellie comes in and actually listens into some of their conversation. He doesn't think he can even protect Ellie now because he's having these panic attacks. He's so scared. He's old. Again, he's hard of hearing. He's tired. He's not as strong as he once was. He can't. He doesn't think he can do this. So Tommy agrees after hearing everything from him, after hearing about Tess, after hearing about Ellie, their journey, what they've been doing. He even told him about Sam and Henry and the things that happened there. It's just this whole huge emotional scene where Joel cries and it's beautiful. Pedro does a wonderful job acting here. It's beautifully acted in this entire show. An emotional roller coaster. It's beautiful. I loved it so much. Everything made sense. Everything flowed nicely. I loved all of it. Ellie hears a little bit of it and is obviously upset. Tommy agrees at the end of it all. Like, okay, Joel, I guess I'll take her. I'll do what you ask. I'll do this for you, my brother. And Joel and Ellie have a heart-to-heart conversation here. He asks her, like, Ellie, did you hear what I said to Joel? And she's super, super upset. Even Ellie, like, breaks down a little bit in front of him, gets really mad. There's lots of talk about, remember in the last episode, Ellie revealed that her biggest fear was being alone. So here she reveals that everyone who I've known has abandoned me, except for you. Except for you, Joel. God, it's so perfect. Their dynamic and their chemistry has come together so beautifully in this episode. It's finally like paying off after all like 5 episodes of build up into the relationship. Perfect. Maybe not perfect, but still amazing. I loved all of it. It's incredible. And Ellie gets super mad, doesn't want him to leave. But Joel is just like, I have to. I'm sorry. You'll be better off with Tommy. Because Joel doesn't want her to die. He doesn't think he can do this. Joel's super doubtful of himself. But that's okay. It doesn't matter. And Ellie also talks about Joel's daughter in this scene. Joel's like, don't fucking talk about her at all. I know you're not her. It's fucking nuts. It's nuts. Things get out of hand. Just out of hand. Go watch the episode. It's super. It's so emotional. It'll bring you to tears. I loved every second of it. Joel takes the night thinking about what's happened. At the end of it all, Tommy comes to get Ellie. They're gonna go to the stables. They're gonna get a horse. Apparently, Joel's been waiting here for like 30 minutes. Really, he's been wanting to just say goodbye to Ellie, but he also himself doesn't want to leave her. He wants to stay and protect Ellie. They have a bond now that they didn't have at the beginning of the series, and it's been fostering and growing since the beginning, and it's all culminated into this moment. It's beautiful, beautifully done. I love all of it. It's amazing. Now Ellie immediately takes Joel back. No second thoughts. Doesn't matter. Now they have a goal in mind. Tommy told them that there was an old Firefly outpost at the campus, USC campus, something like that. It's like 5 days away. Not too hard to get into, but it's super dangerous. More out west, there's more infected, more raiders, and that's the place where they're going right now. They take their time getting there, think about what they're gonna do. It's just more great dialogue between these two. Joel finally teaches her how to shoot a little bit, finally trusting her more with guns. Ellie is understandably happy. She has her joking attitude, of course, as she's had throughout the entire season. Now they finally get to their destination, this hospital. Not this hospital, sorry, the university. Big Horrors University. Um, they get there, they see some monkeys. Now, there's been no giraffes in this season. A lack of giraffes. Giraffes were like a big part of the game, adaptation wise. I guess because it's one of the animals that Ellie loves the most. But there's just no giraffes for some reason. I don't know if they're saving it for something else. I don't know. But there's just been no giraffes. So they explore the campus. They find out these postal points that the Fireflies have left. The Fireflies aren't there. That's okay. They find out where they need to go, which is important. But also, during the midst of this, during the midst of like finding out where the Fireflies are and where they need to go and where their other outposts are and where they could be. So after finding out where Joel and Ellie need to go, after finding all these like mapped points where all the Fireflies headquarters are, doing what they're doing, stopping Fedra from taking over the world, whatever, stopping the fascists, taking down the patriarchy, all that dumb gay shit the Fireflies do. They're find upon some raiders that have stumbled upon their tracks, and we get some dire stress scenes here that are extremely different from the game. Now they encounter a person. Joel takes care of him, kills him, breaks his neck. In fact, absolutely decimates this man. He was afraid of not being able to do anything for Ellie. Unfortunately, now this is the adaptation-wise, this is different from the game. Extremely important. Joel gets stabbed directly in the stomach. Now in the game, this is where they changed it. In the game, Joel gets sick, and we don't encounter anyone that Joel could like or Ellie could be hurt of until later. This so they're like changing the sickness into a stab wound instead. But I find this also sort of hard to believe because it's much harder to survive a stab wound without like medicine or doctors than it is to probably survive like a cold, even like bronchitis. Even though like bronchitis could like still definitely kill you without medicine, getting a stab wound is extremely deadly for you. Ellie's like, holy shit, Joel, you fucking got stabbed, and like a moron, he fucking pulls it out and starts bleeding. And this is the end of the episode. They end up escaping the Raiders, and they go on their merry way. Joel collapses. It's horrible after all they've been through 6 episodes. This new forged bond they have together, staying together. Joel ends up this way, and in the next episode, you can probably tell Ellie's gonna have to take care of him, and we're gonna get into the cannibal arc. It's probably gonna be next episode unless they do something else. I don't know. But that's this episode. It was great. This is an amazing emotional episode with tons of great character development between our main characters and our cast, and the way the story progresses, how they're finally reaching toward their goal. There's only like 3 more episodes after this. There's only 9 episodes, so they're running out of time here, honestly. Um, to get Ellie to the goal and to get the cure. Who know? I have no idea what else they might change after this. They've converged 2 plot lines here, probably to save time, but also the pacing was slightly slower in this episode. But it was still good. I love this episode. It's another great one. 6 for 6. The show is doing really well. What else can I say? They're doing it. I mean, I have faith that they'll do it right at the end. They've been going really strong for 6 episodes. It's gonna be hard to fuck this up. I think it's gonna be really hard. But okay, guys, I think that's it for this review. I'll be back with the next one very soon for sure. And that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. See ya.